An eye for an eye leaves us both blind, or in this case with twisted ankles. Response to May the Narcissist in Your Midst Be Exposed, on a channel called Exploding the Narcissist. Close enough. Exposing the narcissist in your midst by twisting their ankles. Is this what we really want? More so than just getting away from them? This is the kind of stuff that worries me. The malicious, supposedly good guy, masquerading among people as survivors or victims. I find this often within the narcissist recovery groups, which is very alarming. Whether this is fleas or if they've always been like this is a little unclear. But those vulnerable group align and trust with people who are, at least at this stage, are unhealthy. Come on, let's get together and with broken ankles upon people. In some ways, these virtuous people are even more dangerous than a typical covert narcissist, because they are the ones who are bold, have channels, preach, get praised, rewarded, and told they are such loving people. So this behavior or viewpoint gains gravity. People who need to heal are being encouraged to become sadistic. For a narcissist, which is how these apparently healed victim leaders are behaving, this is like finding new candy. A narcissist thrives in this arena, but it shouldn't be a surprise. What do you expect narcissists to do? They flock to supply sources, vulnerable people, and people who haven't healed from narcissistic abuse will often act in similar narcissistic ways, in defense. This is the fleas. Narcissism, after all, is a defense mechanism where no other coping abilities have been developed. I guess it's the measure of intention where it crosses the line, as vengeance being the primary goal and focus over healing, and of course narcissists don't think there is anything to heal due to their lack of self-awareness. So these behaviors are on display, and they don't realize it, nor can they be called out upon it. We'll see what happens if you do in a little while. This pattern is not restricted to breaking ankles or this community. We see this wherever people want others harmed for their sense of justice. Spite, bitterness, rage, revenge. None of these will help someone recover or heal. If anything, makes it worse for them. It's a similarity that goes with people boldly calling themselves empaths, which is a red flag, and I can't really be bothered to go into it right here, right now. Watch their actions and not listen to their words. This could be helpful in spotting the virtue signaling or victimhood. Okay, some fairness, or the reason why healing is way more important than getting revenge. The desire to expose initially can be reasoned and explained. It can help protect and regain some self-esteem. Wanting justice is a strong urge. It is easier to punish than it is to do the hard work of healing, especially if one doesn't know how to heal. So healing can unintentionally go out of the window. In red pill terminology, this will be part of the rage process, which is part of the grieving process. So there is a lot of anger and frustration here. We could branch into talking about forgiveness because it's something you owe yourself for thinking in such a way. But really here at this stage, we need to learn to let go so that boundaries can then form, which is hard because it feels like your experience isn't validated. And it can feel like a betrayal to yourself when really it's actually loyalty. It's hard to see when in rage, so I appreciate it's difficult to do. Self-harm. A slight tangent, but worth mentioning. We think we're smart by trying to logically argue with them and go toe-to-toe, but our logic does not apply, so we're only fooling ourselves into thinking we got our point across. I don't want to say competition because really it shouldn't be one. This pursuit can feel pleasurable, and waiting for the day can keep a person holding on. At best, it's a hollow victory, because what you want or think doesn't matter to them. It doesn't change the situation you're in, and you waste your time and energy on them. The narcissist wants you to hold on and equally takes pleasure from it. By engaging, you provide them the excuse of not needing to self-reflect if that is what you're wanting them to do. You're doing it for them. Your hope of their epiphany, if ever it happens, is faced immediately with defense mechanisms such as denial, deflection, and so on. They are designed to protect themselves from self-reflecting, so more likely all you're going to do is make them worse, more rageful, sink deeper into denial, more delusional, etc. The opposite of what you're trying to achieve. And if you're supposedly empathetic, you're making it worse for the next victim they come across, because all that frustration will be taken out on them, and they've learnt from you how to avoid exposure. Despite what you may think, you cannot therefore inflict a narcissistic injury. Only the narcissist can injure the self via the inner critic. For you to hurt them requires them to allow you to do so. Their meltdown is not a result of injury, it is a method to regain control. Be clear about that. You did not injure them. You only reminded them to reassert their control. Really, it does you as the victim more self-harm, which is likely what you've been conditioned to do anyway. They enjoy you being mad, which angers you more and just fuels them at your expense. And there you are thinking you got the upper hand, and you naively think you're no longer in their game, while they're pulling your strings from afar. Through conditioning, you are an extension of them in their mind, and they've got you on Wi-Fi. Good intentions or ideas are not exempt from corruption, and in this way the disease of narcissism spreads. To have good intentions requires an element of trust, good faith, vulnerability, risk, which unfortunately with weak boundaries can lead to being exploited. Despite how it sounds, this is a good thing, because it means developing strong boundaries and recognizing when someone is trying to take advantage is a must and not be taken lightly. With this, you develop a sense of security. How so? Security is having trust in yourself, knowing thyself, incorporating the risks and dangers. Someone without those things will typically recoil at the idea of being vulnerable. They are insecure. So know your limits before you take it too far and become worse than the narcissist, because the narcissist doesn't know any better, and you should. This is the problem I think many good intentional people have found themselves in. They attempt to heal without first working on their boundaries. Then they wonder, what the heck happened? Why can't I heal? Problems are being added and not being addressed. Responsibility is still being transferred with the blame and victimhood, which means these victims still expect the narcissist to be responsible for their happiness. Take some ownership. When it concerns a narcissist, really not much energy is required. Walk away. Save the energy for yourself. Have more awareness with what you are doing. With healing, you build better boundaries, and so the narcissist should no longer have an effect on you. Well, that's the idea. It should diminish the desire to want revenge and allow you to focus on yourself. If the narcissist is still in your mind, it's an indicator there is still healing to do. Uttering their name is bringing them into existence. You give them power. So you think, and so you give them life. Be careful with how you condition your mind. Control your thoughts. Don't let your runaway thoughts control you. Stop with the blame shifting. Stop feeding the trolls. Don't feed the vampires. Take some responsibility and exercise critical thinking. Back to the poster. Some wonder when God will intervene. Why is this something God needs to do? Are we that stupid that we need someone to have a twisted ankle to know they don't love you? Again, transferring responsibility and blame. And I'm pretty sure this is entitlement, expecting God to do you a favour. And what about innocent people with twisted ankles? Are they automatically going to be called narcissists? This mentality is getting more dumb by the minute. We tumble down this rabbit hole. Oh, how small things have huge ramifications. I see many people leaving comments gung-ho about this. Sadly, it tells me many are not open to wanting to heal. So how many actual survivors in the context of innocence are there? If we talk about responsibility, are we not all guilty? I left a comment and one of these lovely people replied. So the chap or chapette here will rename, based on their original name, as Narcissist Pain Dispenser, or NPD for short. If you know what it's called when you wound a narcissist, and then add the opposite of taker, you could probably work it out. I know it's being a bit cheeky, but the real name isn't far off. So Billy the Goat writes, there is no need to wish harm on the narcissist. They are already living a life of pain. If you do wish them harm, you live with them in that pain. NPD writes, bullshit. They should fear the ones they victimize, and you should virtue signal somewhere else. Billy the Goat at NPD, you wish to hurt them and be in fear of you? Don't bully, tell me what to do. I guess I struck a nerve or perhaps caused you an injury. Kinda ironic with a name such as yours. NPD at Billy the Goat, you wish to virtue signal? Billy the Goat back at NPD. Even if I am, that is besides the point, and you're now deflecting. How is it virtually signaling anyway, unless you want to see it as a competition? Are you suggesting I'm giving bad advice when you're the one with a vendetta? Aren't you a joy to be around? If you want to be feared by people, then they better watch their backs, because you want to be a pain dispenser. Hurt people like to hurt others. NPD at Billy the Goat. It is not besides the point. You are evil and defending the wicked in order to virtue signal. Billy the Goat at NPD. I forgot you started off swearing at me, and now you're name calling, possibly projecting. I'm saying avoid stooping down to the narcissist level, let it go and walk away. But I know that's something difficult for you to do just by going off your name and you approaching me. All you're doing now is digging yourself a deeper hole, which is fine if that's what you want. I'm not defending the wicked, I'm actually trying to defend the victim by advising them not to get dragged down with the narcissist, which you're trying to do with me. That's depriving the wicked. You don't like that because you're looking for conflict, hence your provocation and accusations. I thought you were a narcissist pain dispenser. Failed. How come I'm not the one injured by this? NPD. Never swore at you, so get lost. Billy the Goat at NPD. Bullshit. Your very first word. So now you're a liar as well. Oh, and you get lost. You came to me, remember? Or did you forget? So kinda funny, a post about exposing a narcissist and then someone comes along to assist. Just shows you don't have to actively go out trying to expose them. They weave their own mess and God does not need to interfere. Not sure if NPD left with a limp. Perhaps tail between their legs. Maybe they should get that seen too. But bear in mind, I did not cause their ego an injury. So no positive change is to be expected. Thank you.